Farmanfarmaian is a Middle East security specialist and a professor of modern Middle East politics at University of Cambridge. He joins me now from London. So Iran launched its second direct attack on Israel within 6 months. This after a whole series of assassinations against high-profile figures, including Ismail Haniyeh on Iran's own soil. How might they be preparing now for the Israeli response?
Well, the Iranian presence in the Asia summit that's being held by Qatar is important at this juncture. They are discussing the situation with their Arab and Gulf colleagues. And the Arab neighbors have been assuring Iran that they will be neutral in any particular conflict that might arise as a result of Israeli retaliation. And I think this is very reassuring for Iran. I think we are also hearing that there are other voices coming out of the region. The militias that are tied to the axis of resistance, that is the allies in Iraq of the Iranian government, are saying that oil installations, should they be hit, will then be of major concern to Iraq, and that so far we're hearing at least claims that they are saying they will ensure no further oil goes out to the west or leaves Iraq. So I think we're seeing quite a few areas of saber rattling for this particular response.
That's very interesting what you've just said, because I suppose Iran, in terms of the way it's viewing the situation, is obviously looking very closely at Lebanon. But also, I wonder if there is a growing sentiment among Iran's leadership that after Lebanon, we're going to see more activity in Syria and then Iraq.
Well, I think that's certainly the case. We're already seeing a great deal of activity in Syria. The amount of bombing that has been taking place by Israeli forces in Syria has taken a huge jump over the last week. And of course, they bombed the crossing that has been used by many of those fleeing Lebanon to go into Syria, as well as what the Israelis say are exports of munitions and supplies. So that road has been closed, and I think we're seeing that there have been considerably larger numbers of hits in Syria. And I think there's definitely a
what do you
connection.
I mean, in light of that, this strategy to reestablish deterrence by firing off, 180, 200 ballistic missiles at Israel, did that backfire if what we're likely to see is perhaps a pretext for Israel to keep escalating the war, perhaps not hitting Iran directly, but to keep going after Iran's allies and proxies in the region?
Well, I think that's possibly putting the horse before the cart, because it was initially Israel that was responsible for killing significant members of the axis of resistance, the allies of Iran. And there was a sense that if Iran did not respond significantly, that it was an opportunity lost and it would show weakness. So I think it was a balance that Iran had to strike, which was that it would make a significant attack on Israel, but that it clearly said it was also at an end, that was all it had planned. And I think there's also been a open-eyed view of the likelihood of an Israeli retaliation against Iran, much as there was in April. But that one was purely symbolic. I think it is expected that this set of retaliations by Israel will not just be symbolic.
And so, all right, well, maybe I'll ask you just one more question, Roxane. What's going to happen now if we see another strike by Israel? How much could this really weaken Iran's position in the region?
Well, I think it depends on how Israel responds. I think that it is clear that although Israel certainly has much greater capabilities from the military perspective and intelligence in terms of the ability to know what is the right targets in Iran and that kind of thing. Certainly, Israel is much better equipped for that. It is still more or less clear that Iran has a great deal more to level at Israel should it desire to. Of course, it's significantly different in terms of capability than smaller groups such as Hezbollah or Hamas. This is a state that has a military establishment and has been building and maintaining a capability to protect itself. So I think what we're seeing is a very different kind of response capability. And I think that although Israel could certainly damage Iran seriously, it is also very capable of then going on into the region and possibly hitting American bases or oil installations elsewhere, which would disrupt the region significantly.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Roxane Farmanfarmaian, for joining us there from London.
Thank you very much.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.